So, I've already talked about how we are not alone on this planet and how our way of life really needs to change because it is just the most brutal and barbaric thing imaginable. We just are not capable of realizing it yet. And once we do, generations to come after us will call us just the worst people ever and criticize us for our folly. Very similar to how everyone that had slaves has been demonized in the present, but in the past it was just a commonplace occurrence. And I know that so many people will be like, "There's no way it's the same thing," but I promise you, you're right. It's not. It's worse because we're eating them, and I promise you, you're going to realize how messed up that is, and you're going to not. You're. I don't know if you're going to be able to handle it. But just some examples. I decided the only thing I can do, the only thing that makes sense is to just, as examples continue to emerge of how wrong we are and how wrong this is, I'm just going to keep speaking about it and saying it until someone hears because it's just absolutely crazy. And the longer time goes on, the more examples are found. So, example one, um, cows have been found to be capable of problem solving. They can use complex tools. There was a discovery of like a cow that was using a brush in multiple different ways to scratch different parts of its body. And that sounds like nothing, but it is extremely significant because that is what the basis of humanity is built on. And so, if the basic building blocks are there, then in the future that can develop into something a lot more complex. So saying that it's not significant is just extremely stupid and just I have no words for it if you disregard such a remarkable finding. Um, another example, another thing with cows is they enjoy jazz music. It soothes them, it calms them. They also are known to be very emotional creatures, um, to my best understanding, and um, they can be trained. They can be potty trained. I don't know if that's anything of significance, but you can train a cow to go to the bathroom somewhere. That's less important, but I just thought that I should add that because I was aware of that. Anyway, moving on from cows, we have, crows are known to be a very intelligent species, and a lot of other bird species are very intelligent, are capable of using complex tools as well. And again, that's the basis of what humanity is built off of. So it is very significant. Another uh, Another example is we have recently found out that whales actually have an extremely complex language on the same scale as humans, if not maybe a little bit more complex depending on the language. Um, this extremely complex language is significant because for creatures to be communicating this way, it shows a level of intelligence and communal um, structures, right? There's also been evidence of different families of whales communicating, or whales from different regions working together even though they are not from the same family. And that is significant because again, these are basic um, cornerstones of how humans became what we are today. And so there's just a lot of there's a lot of examples of this everywhere. And even though they may not seem like they're on the same scale as us, even if they're not there now, that doesn't mean they can't be there one day. And so to assume that we are the only ones is just so absurd and just incredibly arrogant and ignorant. I don't, there's no other words for it. That's what it is. And there's also little fish just that are capable of social interaction. They kind of work. They have like a symbiotic relationship with um, other sea creatures, and they are capable of realizing that their behavior and how they act has an effect on the future, and they kind of can. um, realize, hey, this is bad behavior, and basically criticize or admonish their partner, um, partner fish, and be like, hey, knock it out or knock it off, right? Um, kind of stuff. And this is just really interesting because this is very complex behavior for such a seemingly small and insignificant creature, and yet it is very complex. And even like I think ants, like even ants are really a lot more complex than people realize. They have like turf wars and stuff, and I know that that doesn't sound like much, but to be fighting over territory in such a way, to me, there's some level of intelligence there. It's not just this mindless, thoughtless creature that just kind of runs on this base code programming. There's more going on there, and that's really the bottom line. There is more going on than just this thing that is there on the planet. You are not the main character. You are just another NPC on the planet, and I know that that hurts to hear. But the reality is that you are not as special as you think, and you never were, and you really need to realize how messed up this world is because that's the only way it's going to get better. Anyway, peace out.
Yeah. So, um, it's I can come up with more examples. Like we've discovered that like I don't know if it's all apes or but some apes have these complex turf wars that and conflicts and have warfare basically like similar to how humans behave. And this is behavior that we did not expect from them. And there's just so many examples, and I'm gonna continue to make videos as things come up. But there is just so many examples of us realizing that different animals are capable of more and are more complex than we realized, and we just constantly continue to find out that, hey, wait, maybe there's more to this animal than we thought. Hey, wait, maybe there's more to this animal than we thought. And I think that, by now we should have gotten the hint, but the reality is that these creatures, while okay, they're not capable of being literal humans yet, they have the capacity to become on a similar scale to us. They have the capacity to become, humanoid creatures. What exactly that would look like, I don't know. What the future becomes is to be seen. But at the very least, we need to start showing some respect, some compassion, some care, and realize that, hey, wait, maybe this creature that I am just abusing or slaughtering is more than just this base creature. Maybe there's more going on there than, just a blank mind that's just running its programming, basically. I don't know what the average person thinks is going on in an animal's mind, but I think the answer is that they don't think about it at all, and if they do, they think it's nothing, right? The average person thinks that there's nothing going on in the brain of any given animal. That's my assumption, and nothing else makes sense, because how could you not be like, if you think that there's actually something going on in an animal's brain, how could you then turn around and then be like, dinner? Because, I know that no one will see it as such, but I really do see this as a form of cannibalism. And I know that I'm going to be called crazy for this, and I sound like, just completely out of touch, and this is not the case. And I understand there's the whole circle of life, and there's a give and take, and there's balance, but it's absurd, and it's disgusting. And I really think that there's a better balance than what we have at the very least. And I think that we need to start making a change. And the only way to make that happen is to get people aware of it. So, Peace out.